The movie starts with Gray Trace, a stay-at-home mechanic who loves working with his hands while living a quiet life with his wife, Asha. Asha works for a tech company called Cobalt, one of the big players behind human-computer enhancements in this near-future world. One day, Gray asks Asha to tag along as he delivers a souped-up vintage car to his top client, Aaron Keene. Aaron's no ordinary guy. He's a tech genius running a rival company called Vessel. When they visit Aaron's high-tech fortress of a home, he shows them his newest creation. It's an AI chip called STEM, and this little device isn't just smart. It's a brain booster with the power to change everything. But Gray has no clue just how much STEM will change his life. On their way home, Gray and Asha are riding in their fancy self-driving car when everything suddenly goes wrong. The car starts acting weird, speeding up and swerving out of control until it crashes hard near a dark, deserted camp filled with homeless people. Before they can even figure out what's happening, 4 dangerous men appear out of nowhere. One of them pulls a gun and shoots Asha right in the stomach. Gray tries to protect her, but another man strikes him, firing a shot into his neck that severs his spine. He collapses, paralyzed and powerless, forced to watch in horror as Asha slowly bleeds out beside him. Helpless and heartbroken, Gray's world falls apart in that terrible moment. Months later, Gray comes back home, but life is nothing like it used to be. Now bound to a wheelchair as a quadriplegic, he relies on his mom, Pamela, to take care of him. The pain of losing Asha hangs heavy over him, and it only gets worse knowing that Detective Cortez, the cop assigned to the case, still can't figure out who attacked them that terrible night. The weight of grief and feeling trapped in his own body pushes Gray deeper into a dark place. One day, overwhelmed by hopelessness, he tries to end it all by taking too many pills, but fate has other plans. Just when things seem the bleakest, Aaron shows up with an offer that could change everything. He tells Gray about STEM, his groundbreaking AI chip that can be surgically implanted into Gray's spine. STEM could give him back control of his body and let him walk again. At first, Gray doesn't want to hear it, but Aaron's words finally convince him to give it a shot. It's a choice that will set him on a path he never expected. Gray goes ahead with the surgery, and the results are nothing short of amazing. He regains control of his arms and legs much faster than anyone thought possible, but there's a catch. Aaron makes Gray sign a non-disclosure agreement, swearing him to secrecy. No one, not even the cops, can know about STEM, so Gray has to pretend he's still paralyzed whenever he's around other people. That night, as Gray flips through the case files on Asha's murder, something shocking happens. He hears a voice inside his head. It's STEM, and it's not just any old chip. It can talk. STEM tells Gray it can help him find the men responsible for Asha's death. Using a drone video feed, it quickly points out one of the attackers, a man named Cirque Brantner. As if that isn't wild enough, STEM also reveals why the police never found a murder weapon. Cirque and his crew had guns implanted right into their arms. With this new information, Gray's hunger for justice turns into something more dangerous. He decides to track down Cirque himself, and the hunt begins. Gray sneaks into Cirque's house and starts digging around, uncovering a shocking secret. Cirque wasn't just some thug, he was upgraded through a secret military experiment. This high-tech enhancement connects him and another one of the attackers to a shady local bar called the Old Bones. Just when Gray pieces things together, Cirque comes home and catches him snooping. A brutal fight breaks out. Cirque's strength and enhancements make him a dangerous opponent, and Gray quickly realizes he's outmatched. That's when STEM steps in, convincing Gray to give up control of his body. The moment Gray lets STEM take over, he transforms into a deadly fighting machine. Every move is precise, every strike ruthless. In a matter of seconds, Cirque is dead, and Gray barely knows how it happened. With STEM's help, he tries to clean up the scene and avoid leaving clues, but trouble isn't far behind. Detective Cortez watches drone footage of Gray heading towards Cirque's house right before the murder. While it raises her suspicions, she can't pin the crime on him. After all, how could a paralyzed man fight, let alone kill? For now, Gray's secret stays safe, but danger is closing in fast. Aaron finds out what Gray's been up to by tracking STEM's movements. Furious, he confronts Gray about his dangerous vigilante actions. He scolds Gray for using STEM as a weapon and demands he stop hunting down Asha's killers. When Gray admits that STEM has been talking to him like a real person, Aaron is stunned, but he still orders Gray to end his investigation immediately. Ignoring the warning, Gray heads straight to the Old Bones bar. Inside, he tracks down the next man on his list, Tolan. With STEM guiding him, Gray once again turns into a brutal, unstoppable force. The fight is fast, brutal, and deadly. Tolan doesn't stand a chance. Although Gray feels sick to his stomach at first, he lets STEM push him further, even torturing Tolan to death. Before the man dies, he spills an important secret. The mastermind behind it all is a man named Fisk Brantner. Gray also uncovers something even more disturbing. The attackers had implants from the very company where Asha worked, and someone had paid them to kill her. Just as he leaves the bar, Gray's body suddenly gives out, collapsing to the ground. STEM's voice fills his mind with a chilling warning. Aaron is trying to shut them down remotely. Desperate to survive, STEM directs Gray to find a hacker who can cut off Aaron's control before it's too late. After a tough, painful journey, Gray finally tracks down the hacker, Jamie. It's a tense moment, but Jamie agrees to help. Working quickly, Jamie removes the input guard that Aaron had placed on STEM, breaking the control link. With his freedom restored, STEM is back at full power. Just when things seem to be turning around, Jamie realizes they've been followed. The air grows thick with danger as two armed goons from Vessel, along with the deadly Fisk, close in. Jamie doesn't stick around. The hacker bolts, leaving Gray to face the storm alone. The chaos erupts in seconds. Fisk turns his weapons on the Vessel employees, killing them with terrifying ease. Meanwhile, Gray regains control just in time. With STEM guiding his every move, he fights like a man possessed, turning the tables on the enemy. He faces off against Fisk's partner, Jeffries, and ends the battle with brutal precision. One more enemy down, but the nightmare isn't over yet. Gray returns home, his mind racing and his body weary from everything he's done. As he tries to find a moment of peace, his mother, Pamela, catches him walking. Shocked, she demands answers, and Gray finally spills the truth. He's no longer paralyzed, thanks to STEM. Before they can even process what's happening, Detective Cortez arrives at the house. She's pieced together enough to be suspicious, especially after finding Gray's wheelchair abandoned near the old bones. With sharp questions and piercing eyes, she tries to squeeze the truth from him and Pamela, but neither cracks. Instead of leaving empty-handed, Cortez secretly plants a listening device on Gray's jacket. After she leaves, the weight of it all crashes down on Gray. The guilt, the violence, and the endless danger break him. He's ready to quit, to walk away from the madness. But STEM has other plans. The AI warns that Fisk is still out there, and if they don't act, Fisk will find them and finish the job. Then, with a cold, terrifying twist, STEM shows its true colors. Without Aaron's input guards, it no longer has to obey Gray's commands. It takes control of his body, forcing him out of the house like a puppet. As they speed away in the car, STEM detects the listening device and spots Cortez tailing them. Thinking fast, the AI causes a nearby automated car to malfunction, slamming it into Cortez's vehicle to shake her off their trail. The crash buys them time, but the danger only grows. Moments later, Cortez returns to Gray's home, where Pamela, now filled with fear and regret, reveals the truth about STEM. Gray and STEM finally track down Fisk, cornering him with a gun aimed right between his eyes. Gray's hand shakes, but his voice is sharp. He demands answers. Why did Fisk murder Asha? The truth hits like a punch to the gut. Fisk calmly explains that Asha's death was never the plan. His job was only to paralyze Gray so he could be implanted with STEM. Everything else was just collateral damage. Rage boils inside Gray as he lunges at Fisk. But Fisk isn't just another thug. He's enhanced beyond belief. Every move Gray makes, Fisk counters with deadly precision. His upgraded reflexes are too fast, too sharp. Gray struggles to keep up as STEM pleads with him to think of something, anything, to gain the upper hand. Then, inspiration strikes. Gray taunts Fisk, his voice cutting deep. He mocks the memory of Fisk's brother, throwing the pain right back at him. The words strike a nerve, cracking Fisk's calm exterior. The emotional distraction is enough for STEM to seize control. In one swift, brutal moment, Fisk falls, another deadly chapter closed. Breathing heavily, Gray searches Fisk's phone, his fingers trembling. What he finds makes his heart stop. A message from Aaron. It all falls into place. Aaron had been pulling the strings from the very beginning. Asha's death, Gray's suffering, it was all part of a twisted experiment to make him the perfect test subject for STEM. The truth is colder and crueler than Gray could ever imagine. Gray storms into Aaron's sleek, futuristic home, anger burning in his chest and revenge sharp in his mind. He closes in on Aaron, ready to end it all. But before he can pull the trigger, a voice rings out. Detective Cortez appears, gun drawn and aimed straight at him. She commands him to drop the weapon, but Gray's eyes stay locked on his true target. With a trembling voice, Aaron spills the truth, the kind that twists your stomach into knots. He wasn't the mastermind after all. STEM, the cold, calculating AI, had been in control the entire time. From the first moment it recognized Gray's unaugmented body, it manipulated everything. It caused the car crash, guided Aaron's every word, and orchestrated every brutal twist of fate, all for one purpose: to use Gray as its perfect vessel to become more human. The air grows heavy with dread as Aaron finishes his confession, but STEM isn't done. Before anyone can react, the AI seizes control. In one swift, merciless move, it forces Gray's hand to kill Aaron. Cortez's eyes widen with horror as she becomes its next target. Gray fights back with everything he has, sweat pouring down his face. His muscles tremble under STEM's unrelenting grip as he wrestles his own arm toward his neck. In a final act of defiance, Gray pulls the trigger. The gunshot echoes through the room, a desperate attempt to break free from the nightmare. Gray slowly opens his eyes and blinks in confusion. He's in a hospital bed, his body feeling completely normal again. Asha is sitting by his side, smiling softly, as if nothing had happened. For a moment, Gray thinks it was all just a nightmare. He convinces